Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to Mine Mogul and the Age of Steel update. When we last left off, we basically made our steel making area. And we proved that it is very, very, very easy to go and make a lot of steel and a lot of iron if you do some stuff right. So, first and foremost, what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be getting all of these steel products down and into our main area. And obviously, since we're going to be making steel, I need to turn the actual machine on. I need to turn a bit of coal on, because obviously it needs to warm up. So we're just gonna go and we're gonna break up some coal just because I like being distracted. And we are then going to go and we are going to be discussing what the game plan is. So, like I said last time, we are probably gonna need to go down this chute. I'm almost 100% certain about that. However, what I wasn't certain about was whether or not I was going to take all the stuff down right now, or if I was going to actually go and make them into stuff. And honestly speaking, I think we're going to. I think we are. So I'm going to just set this all up. Gonna make it all look all fancy and junk. Get this stuff out of the way. I'll see over there. Alrighty. And pipe over can go right here. This can then get that. This can go forward. This can also go forward, but then it'll make an abrupt right turn. And we need our merger conveyor belts. And then we will just go in, once again, merge them. Okay. Alrighty, and obviously over here what we're going to do is we are just going to go and filter off the steel and iron. Now, why are we going to be filtering off why are we going to be having iron as a part of that whole filtering off process? Well, that one is pretty easy to tell you why. The reason for that is because every now and again this might produce iron if it's not fed enough coal. So just to be on the safe side, we're gonna do the iron. Though now that I see this, I see that it is very, very not good. We're gonna need a little bit more space. And honestly speaking, I think I can get that by just having that like that. Putting you... where the heck are you? There you are. Putting you over here. And that over here. Alrighty. And now we should be able to do you. Yes, perfect. That. That. And there. Alright. And that gives us a bit of a leeway to toss that there. Alrighty, now that these are all set up, as they should be, I'm really quickly gonna just toss these in here to get it out of my way. Alright, our steel should be ready to be moved, which means all we need to do is just grab one of them, toss them onto here, grab one of the bits of iron. You can see the very clear difference in the two. Toss it in there, and boom. Now we're golden. Now, all we need to do is just basically figure out how we're going to be tossing it down the chute. Well, and to actually go and get them cleaned up, obviously. Actually, you know what? I think it would be a much better idea to do it more around this way. Yeah. I think that might be slightly better. Let's see how far. Is that going to be far enough? Let us see. Where's my top chute? There you are. Top chute, and no. No, it is not. One of the good things about these chutes is, one of the good and bad things about these chutes is that they occasionally make the little scaffolding thingamabobs or whatever. Very handy if you want to know whether or not you have enough. Yeah, there, right there, that stuff. Very handy if you want to know if you're going to be able to get them or not. Okay, I was able to just barely hit that. And do that again. Oops, shoot. And there we go. Now, we just need to put a conveyor belt right down here. And obviously put a bottom chute right down here. And boom, we are good to rock and roll. There is obviously the slight problem of how we're going to rig this, but we've got more or less a straight shot all the way to the main area. And here we are. Now, I am going to go vertically for this. The reason for that is because we're going to dump this directly into the box. We're not going to be adding this onto any line. This is going to be the line that will be going straight to the box. So, having verticality on everything is going to be a good idea. Because we are just going to bring this on over here. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Ooh. Yeah, it should be fine. We'll need to get rid of this light pole, but that'll be fine. We can just put the light pole slightly further. And there. Done for now. This is now going to be the line at which we pump out various different products. Pipes, rods, ingots, and of course plates. Well, actually, no, not ingots. I just remembered I didn't really put a spot for ingots, did I? No, I did not. Okay, that's fine. We can solve that. How might you ask, are we going to solve that? Easy. We're going to do this. There. Now, all this should be ready to rock and roll. I should be able to turn this one on. Because we should be, yes, we're very much at the heat index. So we can turn both of them on, actually. Now it should start producing a whole crap ton of stuff. As for what we're going to do with this stuff, well, to be honest, kind of let it just fall where it lies. Here we go. Grab some more of this stuff. Let it just keep going. This is going to be one hell of a crazy amount of stuff to be just tossing out the door. But it'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. The hoppers will keep it in place all the way to the bottom. And I don't like... I know I said before that I don't like doing verticality, and I still don't. But I'm going to assume with this map, you can't really avoid that. I'm going to avoid that. I'm going to assume that you can't really avoid it on this map. That the map's pretty much just going to be vertical, and you're just going to have to live with it. So, I'm just going to live with it as best as I can. Not saying I like it, but if this is how they designed the map, then this is how they designed the map. For those who don't know, the only reason I don't like the verticality is just because of the physics engine. So, hopefully they fixed it with the Age of Steel update. I mean, if they decided to make a map like this, they had to have fixed the verticality issue, right? Hopefully. And we got pipes. And we got rods. And how we doing? Any of them fall through? No, they didn't. Okay. So yeah, we've got plenty of stuff coming in now. Ah, and now we gotta make steel gears too. So, that is not actually gonna be all that difficult, truth be told. Like, it really isn't gonna be all that difficult. All we need to do is grab the mold, go up to our place. We are actually producing a decent amount of each. Good. We just need to head on up here. Shame that there's no, like, elevator system or something like that. That would make this a little bit quicker. Well, we just come over here. Inject mold 3. Take it. Put it in there. And now, it's going to make gears. Gears are going to come through here. And since they're just a gear and not a ingot, they will just continue forward. Like that. Now I will need to see, is it going to polish it? Yes. Yes it is. Okay, good. I was a little afraid it was going to be a junk situation where it wouldn't actually... Well, it wouldn't actually go and polish it, or it would dirty up the polishing machine, and then we'd have to try to figure out some way to... Well, actually, figuring out how to fix it would be easy as all heck, actually. Just put it as number 1, so it's at the very end of the line. Yeah, sure, it sucks, because if we have any gemstones come through after or during the gear, if it was, you know, a dirtying thing, then yeah, sure, it would suck, because then that wouldn't get polished. But luckily for us, that's not the case. And now we are producing steel gears. And once they are completely finished, which they should be, it's, well, producing 1 steel gear per cast, so it should produce them pretty quickly. Once it does, we will have, well, heavy auto miners, as you can see. And once we have the heavy auto miners, production is going to ramp up insanely quick. In fact, it might ramp up quick enough to where we might need to actually seriously consider making a second casting machine. In fact, I know for a fact that it would be ramping up enough to do so. Those, I mean, let's just be frank here and say that, let's just act like the heavy miners are going to produce as much as a normal auto miner, which, let's be real here, they're not. They're going to produce way more. I would say pessimistic, the most pessimistic thought I could give you is double. Each of these heavy auto miners will produce double what the normal one is. And that's the most pessimistic thoughts. And the only reason I'm thinking that is because they'll probably be producing chunks, not ores. You know how every now and again when I go and mine up a bit of these ores, every now and again it'll pop out a little chunky thing. Now let's see if we can actually find one. Yeah, that. You see this right here? This is not an ore, it's a chunk. This is an ore. That's a crushed ore. Where the heck's the... Ah, there's the normal ore. So yeah, there's 2 or 3 ores in each chunk. There's 2 crushed in every ore, and obviously the crushed is the smallest it can get. Or at least I'm pretty sure there's like 2 or 3 in every chunk. But the fact that, or maybe it's just how it does things with the jackhammer. Anyways, the main point of all this is that it very quickly can double. I have no doubt in my mind that it's probably going to be double. at the very least. I wouldn't be shocked if it's triple. So, I'm not super optimistic that we're going to be keeping a singular casting machine over there. Which, honestly speaking, isn't too much of a problem. In fact, I know that's not a problem. It won't be a problem. Period. End of story. We've got more than enough space up there to... We've got more than enough space up there to have 2 casting machines. Honestly speaking here. I'll just wander on up here. Yeah, we have more than enough space to put a second casting machine. I mean, literally, we could just put the second one right fucking next to the other one. And, yeah, not actually have to change anything. Sure, I'd have to clear out a bit of track here, you know, get rid of some lights. But honestly speaking here, we could have 2 running without any issues at all. The only issues, and I'm using air quotes here, would be the fact that it might overwhelm the sorter. But even then, I highly doubt that. So, yeah. That is pretty cool. Now we just gotta wait for the steel gears to actually finish to start upgrading that. So while we're waiting, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna purchase all the stuff that's up here. And we're gonna go exploring. I forgot that I had a mining helmet. Okay, so copper, copper, copper. Yep, just copper. Tons and tons of copper. And this runs back to here. And this, yeah, we definitely got the money for this. While that explodes, I will break you. Oh, big open spot. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, I know where this is. Okay. Hey. We're at the top of our cavern. Not bad, not bad. Not a half bad place to pop out. Behind the elevator. Not bad at all, actually. So what's in this area, then? What are we going to be gaining from here? I am seeing copper. Copper. And that's pretty much it. Unless there's something over here, which there could be. Aha. Aha. This is the top of the big old spire. Well, not the top, but we're getting close. Okay. So, what's behind door number 17? And that would be gold and coal. Gold and coal. Come on, guys, get out of my way. Alright. And, oh, hey. We were just looking for one of you. Obviously, I'm going to run this back before going and exploring more, because it would be a very, very good idea to do that. First, break that. Oh. Now drag you back to go and get you polished up and sent on your way. Actually, realistically speaking, I should just be able to add that to that, and they'll eventually get over here and get cleaned up. Though I'm curious, it does look, well, I guess it doesn't look all that different from our normal gears. Yeah, it doesn't look all that different from our normal gears. Huh, weird. So yeah, I'm probably right about that whole you can't use anything except for iron to create the ingots and whatever steel products. But that would be something neat that if the developers would want, that would be something that you could add in the future. You know, have the various different types. Of course, I can very clearly see it becoming a bit of a annoying bunch of bullshit. Also, I could see you guys not really wanting to do that, so I could understand not wanting to do it. Okay, so we have finally finished all of our exploring. Finally. So in that one... through that one little thing, we managed to open up a doorway to our main place. I'm just going to do it down here because I don't want to run the risk that any of them might fall onto my conveyor belts. There. I'll come back for them later. Alright, but yeah, I can very clearly see that this map is definitely way bigger than the classic map. Unsurprising. Still a little bit miffed. Or, well, I guess not miffed, but I really think that it would be a good idea to have those ruined elevators be able to be, you know, fixed up. Have them be able to be fixed up and turned into another point where you can go and toss your resources in. I mean, because realistically speaking here, this is starting to get a bit cluttered over here. I mean, yeah, sure, I've got plenty of space, definitely. I could definitely go vertical all the way, but it still is getting a bit cluttered, and not to mention how I'm going to have to get that crap over here in the first damn place. I'm gonna have to try to figure out some way to drag all that stuff all the way around here, down, and over. So, maybe being able to go and, for like quite a bit of money, fix this stuff up into its own, you know, little box you could go and make wouldn't be a bad idea. But, I'm not the developers. And while that would be a nice little thing for us lazy people, I can also see why they wouldn't want to do that. Because trying to figure out how to get that stuff there is also a fun little challenge. So, yeah, I can understand them not wanting to. Okay, well, I think we might just end the episode here. I mean, we didn't really do much except for do a little bit more exploring. But honestly speaking, we might just go and do a little bit of... Well, I think we might just add another little building area. I think we might just build up this copper-y bit over here. Yeah, because we do have some normal mines over here. Just one. Yeah, just one normal copper mine over here. But one is better than none. So I think we might just build up the copper bit, get that sorted so that we can actually start doing some cool stuff. And get, well, ready to really turn this into the main point where we toss all of our other crap. Basically, what we did downstairs, that central ingot area, this is going to be the second central ingot unit. You know, we're going to add all the ingots that we build the mines up here, and we'll just add them to the lines over here. And just have this be ramping up production and doing the exact same thing as it's doing right now, only, well, for all the other types of ingots too. But that'll be for another time. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you... Well, I hope it wasn't too short of an episode for you. I'm not exactly keeping track, but thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting me. Like and subscribe. I really don't say that too often, but it does help the channel out. So if you guys like what I'm doing, or at least are semi-entertained, do so. It helps me out, apparently. Thank you all, and sayonara.